My name is Chris Scruggs, and we are happy to have you with us this evening for our 14th round of CAT meetings focused on the University Boulevard area. Before we get started, I just want to mention that this meeting is being recorded, and you will find this evening's presentation along with that recording soon on our website, purplelinemd.com. We also want to take a second before we get started to inform all attendees tonight that the use of AI-powered tools, including transcription, summarization, or other similar features, is prohibited by the Maryland Department of Transportation for all virtual meetings, such as our Microsoft Teams meeting this evening. Please be assured that this presentation will be available to view on the Purple Line website as soon as possible, along with responses to questions answered here on this meeting tonight. For those of you who would like a live translation, Microsoft Teams format can translate this evening's comments into a number of different languages, including Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, French, and many others. Instructions for these live translations are being placed in the chat section of this meeting now. And before we get started, our Prince George's County Community Outreach Specialist, Stephanie Villegas, will now relay this information to you in Spanish. Stephanie?
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos. La aplicación Teams puede traducir esta reunión en vivo en varios idiomas, incluyendo español, árabe, chino, francés y portugués, y muchos más. Las instrucciones para ver las traducciones en vivo están en la sección del chat. Gracias. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Stephanie. Very much appreciated. Next slide, please. So just a couple overview items before we get started, just a meeting overview. We're going to do a couple introductions of the staff presenters who are on the call tonight. We're going to have a project status video that we can show you, some construction updates along the University Boulevard segment of our alignment, where we'll show you some work completed, progress photos, and upcoming work. We'll talk about some community engagement that's been happening recently, and then finish with a question and answer section of the meeting. Next slide, please. So tonight we're joined by several people. We have Ray Biggs II, who is our Senior Project Director from the Maryland Transit Administration. We have Doran Bosso, who is the CEO of our concessionaire, Purple Line Transit Partners. We have Hugo Fontiroche, who is the project executive for our design builder, Maryland Transit Solutions. Luis Rivera, who is the general manager of the operations portion, the Purple Line Transit Operators, as well as two presenters from the Maryland Transit Solutions, Iago Pernas, and we have Surin Sorskasun, as well as myself presenting towards the end of the meeting. Next slide, please. So the team, like I said, will provide updates, and these are three of the stations we're going to discuss later on this evening. But tonight we'll cover segments of the Purple Line that include the following stations of Tacoma Langley, Riggs Road, and Adelphi Road, UMGC, University of Maryland. I'm now going to take a second and turn it over to Ray Biggs for a quick little introduction and introduction to our video. Ray, I'll pass it to you.
Thank you, Chris. Welcome everyone again, and thank you for joining us this evening. We're so excited to have you this evening. The momentum in 2024 on the Purple Line has evolved into the transformation you just saw in some of the photos that were shown before the meeting started. So hopefully you got to see those. Tonight, you will see our 2025 spring progress video, including footage highlighting some of the transformational progress across the 16-mile Purple Line alignment. So let's just get to it. And Chris, please play the video for us.
Overall, the project is more than 76% complete,
Now let's take a look at some of the transformations across the alignment over the past year.
In Bethesda, we have gone from a rocky shaft to a concrete cavern, which will one day soon allow commuters easy access to the Metro's Red Line. In Chevy Chase, the Connecticut Avenue station is awash with color as the station continues to progress and have a transformative effect on the community around it. Over Rock Creek Park, there is a new Capitol Crescent Trail Bridge. This unique inverted truss bridge will be an iconic part of connecting the communities and the Rock Creek Trail system. The Littonsville Operations and Maintenance Facility and the Littonsville Station buildings can now be seen. The next transformation will be the installation of the many tracks in the yard.
Over in Silver Spring, the 16th Street station is now under construction. This makes all 21 stations now under construction.
The Silver Spring Transit Center is being transformed into an even more important connection point as crews construct stairs and elevator connections to the nearly complete Purple Line station. Crews have also completed the challenging structural work for the new mezzanine over the Metro and CSX tracks. Just outside of downtown Silver Spring, Wayne Avenue has more tracks, sidewalks, and curbs. Traffic has been moved onto the newly completed half of the Sligo Creek Bridge, and the trail access has been improved. Piney Branch Road has been totally transformed, with tracks embedded in the roadway and curbs and sidewalks along the entire length. University Boulevard has seen a tremendous transformation as crews complete over 95% of the curbs and sidewalks and have installed miles of tracks, including completing the most challenging crossings at Carroll Avenue, Riggs Road, and New Hampshire Avenue. At the UMD campus, tracks are installed across Adelphi Road, and most of the campus has catenary poles installed, and now prepares for system integration. Campus Drive, to the east of campus, now has the first pair of tracks installed, and drivers have been shifted to allow the final phases of restoration. Along River Road, stations, tracks, and even fencing have been installed. Kenilworth Avenue has also seen a major transformation as curbs, sidewalks, and driveways have been completed, allowing the track work to commence in the middle of the roadway. The flyover at Kenilworth Avenue and East-West Highway and the elevated station continue to impress. The access stairs and elevators are underway, and the station's clear windscreens are ready for riders. Along Riverdale Road, new street connections, ballast, and tracks can be seen making tremendous progress. Specialty crews have completed the beautiful stonework on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway bridges, and the Beacon Heights station is largely complete.
In case you didn't hear, we have started dynamic testing of our LRV light rails.
Along Veterans Highway, the new test track is powered up. An amazing milestone, as this area has been transformed into an active train line where the new light rail vehicles can be tested, operators can be trained, and the complex operation systems can be vetted. Tracks continue all the way to New Carrollton, as the east end of the alignment builds new connections to this important transportation hub.
Connecting metro stations and the communities across the alignment is one of the Purple Line's main goals. Soon you will see the state-of-the-art systems being installed across both counties, carrying the operational and communication systems for the LRV. Stay tuned for a lot more transformations coming very soon. All right, so hopefully you got to see all the transformations that are taken across the alignment, the 16 miles across Montgomery and Prince George's County, and all the work that's really happening across the county, really bringing into shape the Purple Line. So thank you, Chris, for playing the video there. Here you can see the timeline graphic with some of our upcoming major milestones, including our winter 2027 revenue service availability date of when we will open for service. So tonight, you will see and hear more detail about the testing milestone achieved earlier this spring. And with that, we'll go ahead and get right into the presentation. So I'll turn it over to Iago to walk us through the construction slides. And thanks, everyone. I'll see you back at the end of the presentation. Over to you, Iago.
Thank you, Ray. Good evening, everyone. We're going to provide with a construction update about University Boulevard. So first of all, here you see the Piney Branch station. As you can see in the screen, we completed the foundation and the platform. We also installed the canopy and also the art in transit artwork. As a coming work, we just need to finish the last station elements and install the widescreen element as well. It's important to mention as well that we have been able to complete the 6-lane pedestrian crossing. This is a new signalized intersection. The pedestrian crossing, the pedestrian crossing is active, and the intersection is gonna be fully open in the upcoming months. Talking specifically about the section between Piney Branch Road and New Hampshire, here we have the list of the main activities we have been performing during the last 6 months. Basically, we completed all the underground utility relocations. We have been able also to complete all the storm drain, including planter boxes and swim structures. The roadway widening is also completed, including new sidewalks in both bounds. At the same time, new signalized intersections are in place at Piney Branch, West Shopping Center, Tacoma Langley Transit Center, and Carroll Avenue. The wall near New Hampshire Avenue in front of the transit center is also completed, and all the OCS foundations, all the catenary system foundations have been installed as well, and we are continuing with the installation of the track in all this area. Here we have the intersection between Carroll Avenue and University Boulevard. This was completed this winter in December and January, and this was successfully opened a couple of months ago. As a coming work, we are planning to complete the ballast curb in the median within the next days, weeks. Our plan is to complete also all the track within the next 6 months. At the same time, and knowing that all the OCS foundations are completed, we are planning to have crews setting the poles and installing the wire as well. This operation already started a couple of weeks ago, so much probably you already had the opportunity to see some poles in between Piney and Carroll Avenue. tomorrow on April 30th, we are implementing the Merrimack Drive track step. This means that we are gonna close the intersection, and we are gonna allow only the right turn movements. This is to be able to complete the track through that intersection, and this MOT is gonna stay in place for no more than 8 weeks in total. The plan is to reopen the intersection by mid-June this year. The pedestrian crossings are gonna stay active at Transit Center, West Shopping Center, Carroll Avenue, and New Hampshire. Here you can see the Tacoma Langley station. We have been able to complete the demolition of the existing road. We also completed the station platform, and we already started the installation of the canopy. Our plan is to complete the installation of the canopy within this week. Is literally scheduled for tomorrow, and after that we are going to complete the art in transit and all the station elements. The whole section between or around New Hampshire intersection. This picture is from April 17th. This is when we closed the intersection to complete the track through it. All the crews did an amazing job, and we have been able to complete the demolition and the installation of the track through this intersection in only 3 weeks. So as of today, the intersection is fully open and the track is fully installed. So this is a very big success for the corridor, and we are really happy to be able to make this happen. We can see the section between New Hampshire and Riggs Road. In this section, we have been able also to complete all the stormwater drainage. We have been able to install all the planter boxes and filters and underground detection filters. We also completed the sidewalks in both bounds, and we also started and almost completed the Riggs Road station, saying that in the previous area all the OCS foundations have been installed, and we are actively working now on the installation of the track. This section between New Hampshire and Riggs is a ballast track section, and we have multiple crews now working on placing the ballast, setting the rail, and making everything ready. In addition to the track works, we already completed all the DACMAN installation, and we also installed the brand new traffic signals at New Hampshire Avenue, East Shopping Center, and Riggs Road. As you can see in the corner of this picture, we also complete the new paving of the intersection between Riggs and University Boulevard. We built everything up to 15 inches, and this is almost matching the final configuration. Our plan is to keep working on the track installation, same than the previous area. The idea is just to complete all the track here within the next 6 months, and also start installing all the OCS poles and the wire for the catenary system. Last week, we implemented an MOT at each shopping center. This is between New Hampshire and 14th Avenue. We close this intersection, only allowing right turn movements. The goal is to fully complete the embedded track, the extension of the intersection between New Hampshire and University Boulevard. This was closed, as I said, this was closed last week, and our plan is to reopen this intersection in the first half of June this year. So the total duration is not to exceed 8 weeks in total. Pedestrians are gonna be able or are able to use the crossing, the new crossing we have at New Hampshire Avenue. This is the same picture we show before. Is the final product we have for Riggs Road and University Boulevard. We have something similar for New Hampshire and University Boulevard. These two are probably the two biggest success we had in this corridor in the last months, and this is giving us a really good understanding of how everything is gonna look like in permanent configuration. That section is between Riggs Road and Adelphi. Same than previous areas. Storm drain has been fully installed. We also completed the installation of the new traffic signals at 24th Avenue and Westport Drive. All the swim structures, including planter boxes, some filters and underground detection systems have been installed. We had crews completing also some sections of track in this area. We are combining in this area multiple types of track. We have a ballast track at the west side of the bridge. We have dirt fixation on top of the bridge, and we have embedded track east of the bridge. You can see all of it in this picture. In addition to this, we have been able to complete all the OCS foundations. We already started as well the northwest branch stream restoration. The plan for the future is to complete the track in the upcoming weeks, months, no later than this summer. This area is gonna be fully completed. And in addition to all of this, we are gonna resume the stream restoration works at Northwest Branch this June, with the target of completing it before the end of the year. Here we can see the intersection between University Boulevard and Adelphi. We have been able to complete the track through this intersection. We also continue working on the storm drain, and in addition to this, as you can see in the picture, we have been able to complete all the sidewalks and curbs. And also all the OCS foundations. On top of the picture, you can see that the the construction of the station, of the Adelphi Road station is ongoing, and the plan is to get this station completed within the next months, in addition to installing all the OCS poles and completing the paving in all this area. This is pretty much everything about the construction, so I'm gonna let Doran give you a quick explanation about the systems and testing phase.
Great. Well, thanks, Iago. It's great to see you focused on track and stations, but I don't want to forget all the miles of new utilities, storm sewers, and sidewalks along University Boulevard. And we appreciate you and the team getting that track across those intersections. So kudos to you and the team for really transforming this area. And now we'll talk about a new exciting area that we're working on, and that's systems testing and commissioning. So let's go to the next slide. Recently, we achieved a huge milestone, as we've talked about a little bit before, and that's getting these LRVs actually moving on our test track. So we're very proud of that. It's been years in the making, and a video can tell the story probably better than I can. So let's check it out. Well, as I said, it's great to see those LRVs in motion, and that was not missed by many local media outlets, with 12 different media outlets reporting on the story. So hopefully you saw that news prior to tonight, but now you've heard it from us as well. On the next slide. We talked about this during the last round of meetings, but if you weren't there, or just as a refresher, we want to make really clear that on what to expect during testing, and just some safety notes. So currently we're not testing on any roads, sidewalks, or public access areas. We're testing within a 1 mile section of the track that, like I said, doesn't cross any roads or sidewalks near our operations and maintenance facility along Veterans Parkway. So as a safety reminder, even though there shouldn't be access to the public there, and you can see the fencing, please do not go near moving trains or the track in this area. The overhead catenary system, or as we call them, OCS wires above the train, are live and carry quite a bit of electricity. So we have all the appropriate signage and safety precautions in place, but wanted to make sure that we're just passing that message every chance we get. Safety is the most important thing for all of us on the Purple Line and in the community. So we just wanted to reiterate that message tonight. And with that, I'll turn it back to Chris to talk about community engagement.
Perfect. Thank you, Doran. So the next few slides are going to just talk about some recent community outreach and engagement. You can jump to the next slide, please. So these are a couple recent pictures from outreach events that the outreach team worked. The one on top is from Maryland Day, most recently, last weekend. That's a photo from Sweep the Creek with friends at Sligo Creek, and that picture at the bottom is at a career day. But our outreach team does attend dozens of in-person events throughout the year to connect with communities along the alignment. Recent 2025 events, like I said, have been Maryland Day, Sweep the Creek. We did an event at DC Transit Day at the National Capital Trolley Museum. There was a University of Maryland career fair. And like I said, this picture at the bottom is from a school career day that we attended, which was very fun. Our team does also present at PTSA meetings throughout the year, and to share construction updates and safety tips along the alignment. You can also visit our website at purplelinemd.com to see our full events calendar. Next slide, please. We do have a public safety campaign that we've been sharing recently to promote interactions with the track. So just reminders when crossing purple line tracks throughout the alignment to use crosswalks to cross at a right angle, particularly to the tracks, perpendicular to the tracks with scooters, bikes, mobility vehicles, the alike. Do not ride parallel in the trackway as the tires may get caught in the embedded track. And please use caution always when crossing tracks when it's wet or frozen, as the rail can be slippery and dangerous in that respect. Next slide, please. This is a slide talking about just in CAT member engagement that we try to engage with our different CAT members throughout the alignment several times throughout the year with listening sessions, but Outreach did hold 2 listening sessions with CAT members in February to increase engagement and gain insight for future outreach initiatives. Outreach and business engagement teams personally distribute postcards across the alignment promoting our spring series of meetings. And if you're interested in becoming a Purple Line CAT member, you can contact our outreach team at outreach@purplelinemd and .com, excuse me, outreach@purplelinemd.com, and we'd be happy to facilitate that. Next slide, please. I'm going to pass this to Doran for a community support slide.
Thanks, Chris. Well, this is always one of my favorite parts of these meetings, and that's when we get to talk about the Beyond the Rails community grant program. We set this program up to provide existing nonprofit groups with additional funding to continue improving the community that we are in here along the Purple Line. We have a focus on education, environment, and safety with these programs. The most recent group of 8 awardees included a few along this alignment, including the Crossroads Community Food Network, Crossroads Farmers Market, right on University Boulevard, in Tacoma Park, where Iago walked us through earlier, and also the nearby Rolling Terrace Elementary School, supporting their after-school tutoring to address education and income inequity. So this is a reminder that if you or someone you know is part of a community organization doing good work, the next set of applications is due by May 30th. So we'd be happy to find new groups to partner with and support in this area. So visit the website and you can see the resources drop-down menu on purplelinemd.com to apply online. And with that, I'll hand it over to Ray.
All right, appreciate that, Doran, and thanks for highlighting the community grants. And to just build on that, I'll talk a little bit about the small business grant program and just the business engagement team. We have our business engagement team that's out there engaging with the teams, making sure you're aware of the upcoming construction and the different areas to be able to plan as much as you can on the construction as we're moving right along with the progress. Just to give a little bit of updates on the small business grant program, and because I'm seeing some chat messages in here, so this may give some answers to those questions. The Maryland Department of Transportation administers the Purple Line Small Business Grant Program, which launched back in February of this year to help the local businesses most directly impacted by the construction. Had a lot of interest, more than 450 applications were received during the first application phase, and award determinations are scheduled to be announced this week. So stay tuned for that. And program details with the full eligibility requirements and a link to the grant application, which is available in multiple languages, can be found on our website, which is at purplelinemd.com. So that next phase is coming up, and I encourage you to apply to that if you haven't already done so. With that, that brings us to our question and answer session. So I'll ask Chris to come back up to lead us through our questions and answers.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ray. So yeah, we're now going to have a question and answer session. And I do know we have some questions in the chat, so I think we'll get started there. If you have any questions that you would like to ask live, we ask you to please raise your hand and ask a question live, or you can place your question in the chat and we can answer it there for you. I'm going to jump over to the chat quickly. Mary said, when can we expect University Boulevard to be repaved, and will it include the cross intersections with Adelphi, West Park Drive, 23rd Ave, New Hampshire Avenue, etc.? Ray, do you have that one, or want me to pass it to Iago or Manuel?
Yeah, I think Iago should come on to answer that.
Sure, Iago.
Sure. Do you mind to remind me the question, please?
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
When can we expect University Boulevard to be repaved, and will it include the cross intersections with Adelphi, West Park Drive, 23rd Ave, New Hampshire Ave?
Okay, so this question is kind of combining two different things. Okay, we are running two different processes in parallel. The first one is literally linked to the reopening. Literally linked to reopen these intersections. The plan for specifically for 23rd and Guilford is to reopen them before the end of May. Okay, so we are completing the track there, and we are gonna pave and reopen these intersections right away. And for the other sections, we are working together with Maryland State Highway Administration on a milling and overlay campaign to mainly repair the paving in the whole alignment. Okay.
Thank you, Iago. We also just reminder that we are going to have these questions printed and published to the website shortly in a couple weeks after the meeting, so you'll all be able to have written answers to these questions as well. Jumping in to another question in the chat, what efforts will be made to prevent pedestrians from crossing at inappropriate locations?
Okay, so for this one, we are reinforcing the presence of our MOT department, making sure that all the concrete and water-filled barricades are in place. As of today, I believe that the corridor is looking much better than before, and we are adding additional signs as well to make sure that the pedestrian routes are being properly signalized. And we also believe that the community or the pedestrians are doing better, and they are helping us on following all these detours accordingly.
All right, thanks, Iago. I think we'll just switch to one quick in a live question I believe we have. 1 second. I thought I saw a hand up here for a second. Joel, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. Joel, go ahead and ask your question. We're happy to answer.
Well, I had a comment too. Unfortunately, I couldn't make the Monday for this year, but I have to make it up to you guys to next year. I had two questions. I know the Metro buses in June going to be relocation some of the valves, and they have renumbered as well. And also, I just found out today, John was the secretary for the board of directors for Metro. I just received eligibility, have two smart trip cards, one Metro Access and one for a regular smart trip card. And they told me if I use that Metro Access card, all the systems are free on Metro Access. I can still pay. I don't know how much it would cost, but would that probably be implemented for that purple line? Because they'd be all free, all the Metro Access people. I just submitted my application from eligibility, and now I can ride for free. So the bus is going to be eliminated on my area, the C8, but they're going to replace it, the bus P37. And maybe they have to, I don't know if those, if the buses get rerouted and have new numbers, like the M70, which would be the OJ2 bus. So I guess that would be some of the bus stuff be still there. Other won't be there anymore. They'll be changing the bus flags up top of the pole. So I guess that was my question. If they gonna have free from eligibility, the metro access. Now, if I get a companion, it'd be free too. But there's one thing: if they won't go to that tailgate till 90 seconds, then they have to pay the fare. If they go right behind me, it's free. That's
I'll
all
see if
my
I can-
comments and questions.
All right, I'll see if I can answer Joel. Yes, I was looking for you on this Saturday at University of Maryland for Maryland Day, but I look forward to see you next year there. But to answer some of your questions regarding Smart Trip, so the Maryland Transit Administration, who's building the Purple Line, we are working closely with Metro with the WMATA system to ensure that it will take Smart Trip. So in that Metro access card does fall under Smart Trip. As long as it's a Smart Trip card, you'll be able to get on the Purple Line, and everything will be as what you're used to with the Metro system with WMATA. So really integrating the transit system from the Metro with the Maryland Transit Administration once the Purple Line comes into service. So hopefully that answers your question there.
How about the bus service? Because they have that new bus service, the best bus, and they reroute the buses now. And that C8 is not going to be eliminated, and the P37 will be taking the section from Delphi Road up to New Hampshire to Methodist Road, down Methodist, and make the loop and go down to Delphi, serve the University of Maryland and the College Park Metro. The C8 now, the M42 or M44, I can't remember. That starts from Calverton and the White Oak and that shopping center on Cherry Hill Road. You're going to start there and go to North Bethesda, which used to be White Flint Station. That's going to reroute, and the C8 is not going to be there anymore.
Got it.
I can't remember that route for the C2. So,
Joel, we can make sure to get you some information with Montgomery County Department of Transportation and other bus routes. If you would like to, we can connect with you offline. I just want to be mindful that we are getting to some other questions in the chat there. Joel, if you have any questions, please email us at Outreach, or we can get a phone call set up with you, and we can jump on those right away to make sure that you have the information you need for the bus access.
that's what I was using that.
Okay. Joel, we're going to connect with you offline and touch base with a phone call with you. I just want to make sure we're mindful to get other people questions too, because I know we have some stacking up in the chat here. Janet asks,
Well,
thank you, Joel. Janet asks, how will traffic be controlled, especially at 193 and Adelphi Road? Iago or Manuel, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah.
Yep. I
Eh,
can. Oh,
Go ahead, Manuel. No problem.
if the answer is how it's going to be controlled during the testing and commissioning, is the traffic for the testing and commissioning itself. When the train start crossing there, we are going to be coordinating with SHA, but we are basically going to be using law enforcement officers to ensure that at the time that we are testing that section, the train is going to be safely crossing to one place to another, making sure that through the traffic signal, law enforcement, plus obviously all our team will should be able to make that crossing in a safe way. We'll try to use it during the off-peak hours, night, whenever is possible, to minimize any of the impacts to the traffic. When it gets to operation, it's going to be directly linked to the traffic signal and the rest of the traffic devices that are already interconnected between the train control system and the traffic signal system. I hope this answered the question.
Perfect. Manuel, I might actually ask you to answer this next one too. When will the track crossings be completed at 14th and 15th Avenue?
The 14th and 15th Avenue and intersection, the track construction is ongoing. Unfortunately for the resident, that's the area where we are building what we call a double crossover, where we have a CAH. So we do have still quite a bit of work to be done right now, and we don't foresee those intersections to be completed within this year. That's probably going to happen next year, but we will be seeing how the things goes.
Perfect. Thank you, Manuel. One more from the chat. I think we can go down to Mary asked, she said, excuse me, a no U-turn sign has been added to northbound Riggs Road at University. Is there ample space to make this U-turn? Oh no. Was this made by request of the Purple Line or SHA? I can say that all of the maintenance of traffic plans and signage are approved by both the county and SHA. Iago or Ray, if you want to add anything else to that.
Yeah, that's correct, Chris. We are building the intersections based on the approved plans we have. Anyways, anytime we receive a concern or a comment, we are raising this to them, and we can review this accordingly. Okay, but as of now, we can say that this intersection is 100% matching the approved plans we have for it. Okay.
Thank you, Iago. I'm just checking on the meeting to see if anybody has their hand raised before I continue in the chat. I don't see any yet, so I will jump back to the chat here. How will residents on Adelphi Court and Cool Springs Road be able to access the Purple Line station by foot? The current plans create sidewalks that don't lead to crosswalks. To access the southwest corner of the Adelphi Road and University Boulevard by foot, there's no way proposed. So how will residents on Adelphi Court and Cool Springs Road be able to access the Purple Line station by foot?
I can answer that. I will need to confirm with my plans, and I also suggest that there is some plans already sharing the in the webpage where they can check all the rendering and everything for every single station. I do recall that for all the four corners of the Adelphi intersection, there will be in permanent configuration, there will be a crossing, a pedestrian crossing. And then whether from the north side or the south side, there's going to be a crossing also into the station for accessing of any of the neighbors.
And
Just to
this
add
is
to-
Mr. Weisberg. I'll add. So the county received a Safe Streets for All grant that will improve the sidewalk and connectivity network in the Cool Spring neighborhood up to where the SHA right of way is at Adelphi Road on the north side of 193 at Adelphi and along 193, connecting into the community, connecting along Adelphi Road and up to Cold Spring and in the community itself. Those plans are being finalized, but we do have grant funding to significantly improve the sidewalk and connectivity network that will then connect to what Manuel just described.
Appreciate that, Vic, for jumping in, Manuel. I did want to just draw the attention to everyone to the website to see sort of the landscape plans for the entire 16 miles. That'll give you more of the visual of how the sidewalks and connectivity is. If we can drop the direct link that goes to the resources and the plans in the chat so that it'll take everyone directly to there. It's about 8 different plans that are set there. You can see the landscape layout, which gives the sidewalks, the stations, and how you get to the stations across the alignment. So we'll drop that in the chat for you. That'll help with getting a more understanding of how it's all laid out.
Thank you, Ray. I see we have a couple more in the chat. Javier, I see that Kat has answered your questions there. Barbara Sanders says, could you please provide a more detailed description of the amount of underground utilities that have been upgraded and the water runoff brought up by current climate control regulations? This is especially important aspect of the project from which everyone will benefit, but is not well known. Manuel or Iago, do you have any insight here on a more detailed description of the amount of underground utilities that have been upgraded?
I'm gonna say that probably one of the major features, especially when we're talking about the runoff of water that the entire pipeline has, but especially heavy in this area, is the installation of precast planter boxes that are a system that receives the water through a different filter media elements, filters the water and takes the water again to the system obviously with less sediment and everything. So I think it's a big impact in the environment. And along the corridor, we have more than almost 500 planter boxes. And especially in this area along the corridor of University Boulevard and also along the University of Maryland, there are quite a few. We're talking about probably more than 200. So that is going to be also with a landscaping feature that is definitely going to be helping not only the neighborhood, the environment, and everything.
You want to talk about the sand filters a little bit too, because that's a pretty big thing that is all up underground that people probably wonder what are those big structures we've had all along the alignment that are now hidden underground. Yeah,
and that's a good question. Those are tennis court size underground detention ponds. From the outside, you will be only able to see just the clean outs, some kind of white pipe going out and some filter meeting around, but actually below the ground, both teams in University Boulevard, in this case in University of Maryland, has been building massive underground detention ponds that actually works as a regular pond but underground. And the same purpose is filter the water before it gets discharged again to the stream. So that's another big feature that the team has been working out over the last months, over the last year, I will say.
Appreciate that, Manuel. Chris, I'm gonna jump in a little bit and see if I can try and help with some of the follow-up questions on the business grant program. So there are some questions coming in, and we're gonna make sure we get those answers in the chat to you. So thank you, Javier. we'll get the answers to you. But I did want to jump back to the paving along Purple Line to give some more details on that of what's happening, because we definitely understand the impacts that it's had on University Boulevard and the businesses too. But just wanted to give some updates there of what's happening with the road conditions and how we are improving things by working very closely with SHA as we are progressing construction along University Boulevard. So SHA, as the Maryland State Highway Administration, have already started the milling process along University Boulevard, which is anticipated to take 2 to 3 weeks to complete. Once that milling is completed, SHA, that's the State Highway Administration, will begin paving University Boulevard from Piney Branch all the way to Adelphi Road. This paving work is scheduled to begin in 1 to 2 weeks and will take place at night to reduce traffic delays in the area, given we are still doing construction and all of that. Once paving has started, it's anticipated to take 3 to 4 weeks to complete. But please note that this paving on University Boulevard is not the paving in the final configuration, but a temporary solution to repair University Boulevard to alleviate as much as we can the potholes and the road conditions that you're experiencing. So wanted to provide that update because I know that is of huge concern to people, especially everyone driving along University Boulevard, that those improvements you'll start to see over the next weeks. And so as the State Highway Administration continues there. I know we talked about utilities and how that's been improved too, but I wanted to talk about a little bit of the sidewalk. Because if you noticed, a lot of sidewalk improvements have happened along University Boulevard, but across the alignment, we've installed or will have constructed almost 19 miles of new sidewalk or extended sidewalk along the Purple Line for the project. Additionally, it's miles of different trails that are being constructed and all of that as part of the Purple Line too. So just wanted to highlight those pieces as we talk about the connectivity and connecting the communities and how it connect in with the local communities around and how you get to the stations. So once you take a look at the landscape plans, you'll see all of that and see how it's really taken shape across the alignment with the transformations that's happening. So wanted to give you some stats there to give you some of the of what is improving along the alignment as we build a Purple Line. So back to you, Chris.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ray. I think we have gotten the answers in the answers for the questions in the chat, excuse me. So does anyone have a question live they want to ask and raise their hand?
Johnson, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep, absolutely. Go ahead.
All right. At what point in time, or do you target a time in which there will be a ride-along? This is Johnson from Lewisdale Citizens Association. Will there be a ride-along or a scheduled time in which we can ride along and find out from point A to point D what's happening or what's involved?
Yes. So our target completion date for opening for revenue service is winter of 2027. I don't know, Catherine, if you can jump to that slide that we talked about earlier. I know we went through it fairly fast, partly because we've been holding to that timeline for a little while now. So really pushing for that. And you saw throughout the presentation with the testing that started a little bit over a month ago. That's going to continue to move across the alignment. And then once we get that fully done with the testing, as you can see here in the spring of 2027, that'll start the end-to-end testing with no riders on it and all of that, no public riders, I'll say that. But then once that is fully done and completed, the public will be able to ride the Purple Line come winter 2027.
Okay, thank you so much for taking my question.
You're welcome. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Ray. I see we have one more hand raised, last name Green, W. Green, if you want to ask your question. last name Green, W Green, did you raise your hand on accident, or are you maybe muted? Okay. I'm looking in the chat if anybody else has their hand raised. I don't see any. Let's make sure. Yeah, I do not see any hands raised on the meeting. We'll give it one more shot. If anybody else has a question, they can raise their hand and you can answer it live. If not, if your questions were not answered, don't worry. We will answer those in our published question and responses that we put onto the website. And like I said, those will be coming within the next weeks, excuse me. I'm going to go one more once over in the chat in the meeting to see any last hand raised. So everyone
Hey,
feels.
Chris, before we close it out, I wanted to make one last reminder of different things on the business grants. And just to reemphasize of just understanding the impact the construction is having on the businesses as we construct the project. But also to say that that is why we have the business grant program that we started this year, and looking forward to announcing those awards this week with another round opening in a month. So if we can go to the information page, Catherine, at the very end, just want to make sure everyone has all the ways that you can contact us and really go into our website, because that's where you can get everything and link to everything else that we have at purplelinemd.com. And any questions you may have at outreach at PurpleLineMD, or if you're a business at purplelinemd.com to help get those questions answered around the business grant program. And also Dora mentioned the Beyond the Rails grant program. They also have a NetSpace application. So a lot of grant programs and applications. So I want to push you to the website to make sure you have all the information there. But if you don't have, if that doesn't answer all your questions, feel free to email us or call us, and someone will definitely be sure to return and answer all your questions and follow up with you. And I see we followed up on the business grant pieces too in the chat too. So, and be sure to follow us at PurpleLineMD. So back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Ray. Yeah, thank you for answering the questions in the chat there, Jacqueline, as well. But that being said, if your question was not addressed tonight, like I said, don't worry, we will answer it and have them posted up on our website. But without further ado, this does conclude the end of our University Boulevard CAT meeting and CAT presentation. Thank you all for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of your night.